Hey, what's up, everyone? It is Monday. Mean guy, I just looked at the clock to see what date it was. We just had 3:16 close out Raw, empty arena Raw. This is the Don, Tony, and Kevin Castle show. I am Don, Tony, and join along with me as always.
Kev Castle, what's up, TT?
Oh man, what a draining 24 hours, man. Absolutely draining. How you feel?
Just if everybody hears my voice, a little Brian Pillman-is today, raspy. I've been talking up a storm on the phone last couple of days, having to talk to everybody I work with, be the calming person, and also some people calming me down. But, it's something no one's prepared for. I know a lot of people are feeling it in the service industry, in all industries. I know, DT, you were overwhelmed with insurance policies. There's no one who's not going to feel it.
Yeah.
So it's some world. Kyle said it best. Shout out to Kyle K. We are definitely all in this together, and it's not a cliche thing to say. It's true. This affects all of us.
Absolutely. I tell you, when I actually had a couple of old school former gangsters come into the office today, and I was telling my fiance earlier, and it was the funniest thing. The guy's leaving, and he goes to shake my hand, and I put the fist bump out, and he's looking at it, and he says, "What's this?" I said, "Fist bump. We can't shake hands. We got to do fist bump." He's like, "The fuck's a fist bump?" So I showed it to him. He never, ever did a fist bump before. And the guy's in his late 70s, so I kind of...
Super old school.
Yeah, I mean, it was just hilarious. But look, we started a couple of minutes early so we could get a couple extra minutes in. We're gunning to finish for midnight tonight because honestly, and I'm not trying to belittle this in any way, shape, or form, but there's really just two news stories going around. If anybody out there has not seen Friday's edition of the Don Tony Show, which is available everywhere, I got into every cancellation and every reschedule for pretty much every promotion. The only one that we really weren't sure about was WrestleMania, and we're obviously going to talk about that tonight. I have no idea how you feel about it. We'll both, give our views. Tonight's edition of Raw, just to basically summarize it, we had one match. We had two promos for the most part. We had Asuka doing commentary during a Rey Mysterio Andrade match, and we had Austin close out the show. And half of the show was the replay of the men's Royal Rumble match. Mm-hmm. With about 95 commercials mixed in. Did it feel to you? I mean, I know because it's the Royal Rumble match and we saw it the first time around without commercials, but it didn't feel to you that they had an excessive amount of commercials tonight?
They did. It did feel like that. It was interesting. I mean, watching Raw was, a lot of people saying it was tough to get through. It was to a degree, but again, we're all supportive of all things wrestling. And right now there's not a lot to watch. I didn't expect some sort of amazing show. I expected a clip show, and I expected some things peppered in with promos, either pre-done or done live, and it was exactly what I expected. And I said it on Twitter. I'm not going to complain about wrestling now. I'm just going to talk about what we saw and stuff. It's to complain about it is ridiculous. They're doing the best they can, and I think AEW is going to do the best they can. I'll be supportive of them too from now on. Still with the jokes, but because we need laughter. But I want to be supportive of all things wrestling. I don't want to criticize these guys because they're putting themselves on the line by wrestling and traveling. So and I'm not trying to be. I'm far from PC. I'm very similar to DT, but I want to be different in my analysis of wrestling right now because the landscape has changed and we just got to deal with it. It'll get back to where it needed to be and where it used to be, but right now it is what it is.
What I don't understand is for 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm sorry for a few people that got upset with the terminology I used earlier, because believe me, I tell you, it's not to insult anybody or to make fun of it. But for 2 or 3 weeks, we had almost every journalist and every podcaster out there rip WWE, call Vince greedy, that this motherfucker is waiting until Mania to postpone, waiting for Tampa to postpone everything, saying that doing it outside of the fans is going to suck. That's terrible. WrestleMania is the ultimate fan experience. It's selfish on WWE's part that the NBA canceled, NHL canceled, XFL canceled, but as I explained Friday, it's more logistics than just coronavirus. But everybody else canceled. WWE Backstage canceled, companies canceled. They didn't cancel because they're not committed to entertaining people. There is a health crisis going on. And what amazes me is that for 2 or 3 weeks, everybody and their mother ripped WWE for being the only ones not to cancel. And then once it was announced tonight that they're still going to do it in an empty arena, I saw about 90% of these same people, everybody's trying to give us a great time. Everybody's trying to entertain us and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, look at all of these bipolar freaks that are just looking to get that tweet hand job that, because they don't want to get banned from wrestlers, because almost every wrestler out there is going to praise their fellow wrestlers. And I will say this, every wrestler that is still performing is doing it for the love of wrestling and for all of us. There's no denying that. I'm not questioning that. Here is my problem. You have a lot of musicians, a lot of bands that still want to perform for all of their fans. Right. They would take the necessary precautions. They would stay away from people. They would perform a certain amount of feet away. They would take all the necessary precautions to keep themselves healthy and the people that are there healthy. But they're not allowed to do it because of the ordinances, health risks, and because there are all these mandates going around in the United States. So the only people that for me right now that I sympathize more than anything is law enforcement, EMS, firefighters, and people who are forced to work in offices because there's no mandate that you can't work at your job in your office. With that said, the wrestlers are not above the law. They're not above health. They are entertainers. Just like other movie companies, just like sports. But this idea, in my opinion, I'm not trying, again, I commend every person who still wants to entertain all of us that really are taking that risk. But there is tens of millions of people that also want to take that risk, but realize that for the betterment of the country, that they stay away. Now, again, unless every wrestler's wife and kids are all quarantining themselves, when these wrestlers go home to their family, their kids are playing down the block. Their wives or whatever, or husbands or boyfriends go to the supermarket to buy food and stuff like that. And one of them gets in contact with each other. And then that wrestler goes down to Florida and then commingles with someone else. And then I'm not saying it's going to happen, but now you understand the reason why some people, although they have no connections with anyone else and could self-quarantine, has no freaking choice. So the thing is that, I just feel that if you do not agree with WrestleMania still going down in an empty arena, if you do not agree with AEW going down in an empty arena for weeks and possibly months, that doesn't mean that you're against wrestling. That doesn't mean that you're not supportive. That doesn't mean that you're not a fan. It just means that, a lot of other people out there want to entertain us, want to do things, want to work, want to help their fellow community, but are forced against it because of the health. Or they realize, you know what, it's better for me to stay at home. I don't like this idea that the wrestlers give this perception that they are bigger than the law, that they are more important than other mediums out there. And because you disagree with them going out and doing this for the health reasons, that for some reason you're against pro wrestling. That's just my feel on it. The empty arena thing, I think it gets old after 1 week. You want to buy a week, you want to, figure out what you're going to do. And a lot of people don't even think about this. The the only reason why Mania is still going on is because the ordinance of 50 people does not pertain to businesses.
That's right.
And not only that, WWE is not a business in Florida. They're renting out a building, and they have workers, and they have people coming from different states. There is a possibility that another ordinance gets issued, and WWE may have to cancel it anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
There is still that possibility. So you saw tonight with Austin. You saw, with the matches. In my opinion, and I said this Friday, WrestleMania should have been postponed. Do it in June, do it in July, whatever. But I'll say this. The only way, in my opinion, that WrestleMania will succeed and entertain is the same formula that I said about AEW, if they continue shows, and the same formula about WWE Raw or SmackDown. There is no reason why Edge and Randy Orton cannot record this street fight later this week. There are no journalists inside the building. They don't need to worry about a troll to call Mike Johnson and say, oh, they did this, they did that. It's a skeleton crew. There were only, 10 wrestlers on the show today. So if they pre-record some of these matches and it's kept hush as far as the outcome, not every segment needs to be live. 3/4 of the show today did not need to air live. They have the capability of brawling outside, brawling in the parking lot, brawling in the kitchen, doing this, doing that, doing this. They need to pre-record a couple of matches. And it doesn't need to be done the day of WrestleMania. And I think the same thing with AEW. This week they may be able to get away with it. But next week, the week after, I think the only way this succeeds is you have to get extremely freaking creative. And the best way to get creative is to do things pre-recorded, because you can edit, you could tweak, you could do this, you could add this, you could do something over. And I think that is the only recipe that this does not get really intolerable after a week or two. What's your take on the whole situation?
I think they should. I was hoping that they would postpone WrestleMania, maybe combine it with SummerSlam or bump SummerSlam, and just have WrestleMania. I mean, they can do whatever they want. Everyone's like, you can't eliminate one of the big four. Sure, you can. You can do whatever you want. This is dire circumstances. It's like something out of this world. WWE can do whatever they want. They should have had in the summer, big summer festival. Oh, it's too hot in Florida, Kev. It's 110 degrees in the shade. I get that. I've been to Florida in the summer back in the day. I know it is, but that's not the point. The summer is when supposedly summer, a lot of things are rescheduling right now, even some concerts. I know I got word today, July and August, some things will be rescheduled. The CDC is confident that the heat will kill the virus, stop the spread. So they're confident that they can reschedule for summer without recanceling again. So I think the WWE should have did that. And like I said, combine it with SummerSlam, some super show, something really over the top, 2 days. I don't know. But I don't know, DT. I'm glad that they're going on with the show. Listen, I'm in show business to a degree. On with the show. The show must go on. I get all that. But I even told some bands, the show must go on. Does not apply in pandemics. It just doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
I'm saying that's, I was talking to somebody today. I had to take a band off the road, literally force them and tell them you can't go, that we work with. A ridiculous conversation I had to have today, but they saw the light after the conversation. But having it in an empty arena, and again, something for us to watch. We'll watch it. We'll review it. It's good for our podcast. We can come on, talk about it. Good for us to a degree. But it'd be a lot better if it was a super show and get people excited. WrestleMania is about inclusion and merch and days of interacting and meeting the wrestlers and fan fests and fan con and all this stuff. And it's all taken away. And if we want to get back to some normalcy or have something for people to look forward to as we all bunker down in the house for the next month to 2 months or whatever, it's something to look forward to. And I don't know anybody could really dispute or argue with that. I respect the on with the show thing to a degree. To have it on the day they want to have it, but it could be done in the summer. I don't know why that's not being explored, but I respect all the people who are involved. And you're right, DT. This might get pulled too, and it might wind up being summer forced hand by the government, where Vince can't do anything about it, even though his buddies with Trump. They ain't going to do shit. If they have another ordinance that, no, we can't, this is not going to happen. We can't even have this. The wrestlers can't even join together in a cluster. We can't even have 50 wrestlers together. So they might pull that, DT. So right now it's on, but it could be off in a week or two. Anybody hear? You guys hear me?
What?
Anybody hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's DT?
I'm right here.
You guys hear me? I don't hear Anthony.
Yeah, I'm right here. You saying you don't hear me?
I don't know what happened.
No, I'm here.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, now I hear you. Okay, I lost you for a second. Okay.
No, that was odd. That was really odd.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
it
that
just
was
went up.
a
But
little
you heard what I said? It went through?
Yeah, no, you were fine. Wow. I don't know
Okay.
why I was muted for a second. I didn't touch nothing.
I didn't touch anything. I got my hands on my side, actually.
Yeah. Well, this is what I was going to say.
Go ahead.
I don't know how much of what you heard or didn't hear, but I said I didn't see not one place mention this tonight. Not one. Not one at all. Not one website, not one podcaster, but I took notice of it, and I think you'll take notice of it next week. WWE is doing their version of quarantine also.
Yeah.
Because you notice Drew McIntyre wasn't there this week, but he'll be there next week. Edge was here this week, but there's a possibility he won't be there next week. Randy Orton wasn't here this week, but he'll be there next week. Undertaker was here this week, but he won't be next week. You see what I'm saying? Like, they're going a week apart for these wrestlers. This way, they're not around anybody for 7 days. And if something goes wrong, then those same wrestlers are not there. I mean, for the most part. I mean, you may have someone here and there, but for the most part, you see these wrestlers, they're like rotating every other week.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, what's your view as far as them having such a skeleton crew and spending so much time on recaps? Because you know that's going to happen on SmackDown. You know that's going to happen on Raw next week. I mean, you're next week we're going to have more build-ups, and half of it is going to be what we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to do the clips. It's going to be a glorified clip show, and either we'll hang in there and watch it, and the ratings will mean nothing. People, who knows what the ratings will be for this? Doesn't matter. But there's not a lot to watch. I mean, there's no sports. There's no anything. That's going to be the other thing, keeping people entertained. That's why wrestling will go on. These shows will still be meaningful. Because people are like, what are you guys going to do if there's no wrestling? There'll be wrestling. AEW, there'll be empty arena. It'll be a different kind of context, but it'll be wrestling. I think having the skeleton crew, they're keeping people separate. DT, all it's going to take is for one or two. Can you imagine, just, again, hypothetically, picking a name out of a hat. Alexa Bliss has coronavirus. Baron Corbin gets it's a major thing. Then they'll shut everything down. Well, matter of fact, you got to knock on wood right now that every wrestler, how many wrestlers on a roster, DT? Well over 150, maybe 130 between NXT and all the brands and developmental. If one of them gets corona, DT, wouldn't you say they're going to shut it all down?
I don't know. See, like I said, Asuka was on both shows because Asuka probably stood. She had to stay in Florida for the most part. But if you notice, I mean, when Randy Orton shows up next week, technically he hasn't been there for 2 weeks. Right. If Edge doesn't appear next week, you understand what I'm saying? Like
strategic.
I know a lot of people think that the incubation period is 14 days. But for the most part, a lot of people start to get the symptoms after 5. So them rotating a big part of their crew, it keeps wrestlers separated for a minimum of 7 days at a pop. So if somebody does start getting ill, and I also believe this too, and I haven't seen this written anywhere as well, I truthfully believe that WWE told their roster that if you really feel uncomfortable and you do not want to come, it's almost like the Saudi Arabia situation. Maybe not necessarily as far as the women go, but, Saudi Arabia was optional. But not this one, but the one before, it kind of was interesting that some people who publicly declined going to Saudi Arabia, it seemed like their push was taken away. I don't want to bring any names and rehash everything, but I feel that WWE told their roster, look, if you really feel uncomfortable and you don't want to come, stay home. Or maybe you come in a week or two, see how you feel, you quarantine, you do this. And, I think that's the reason why I believe some matches will be changed up. Remember, they really haven't announced that many matches. So based on who appears, based on who feels comfortable going, that's how they're going to determine as far as who faces who. I mean, look, I said this a couple of weeks ago. I was afraid that the Kabuki Warriors were going to end up facing a moment to piss at WrestleMania and possibly lose the belts. They wrestled in the empty arena on Smackdown last week, so Bliss and Nikki Cross, barring any illness, they feel comfortable enough to wrestle in Florida. Bayley was there, Sasha Banks was there, Paige was not. Paige is quarantining herself right now, and she's got travel issues, but she's not ill. So there's going to be some changes. But again, to see some of the wrestlers like doing their poses with no fans around, it made me feel like that Baltimore Orioles game that was in the empty stadium. And I'm saying to myself, just picture if Chris Davis and Manny Machado took curtain calls when they hit their home runs in that game. It would have looked so ridiculously goofy. Now, Becky Lynch, I give her credit because she was talking about Jerry Lawler. When she was doing the eye contact, it was to Jerry Lawler. But to me, the empty arena, I'm telling you, it's just, look, it's a soap opera. You can't postpone storylines. You can't postpone a suspension of disbelief of two people wanting to rip their heads off. But I personally feel that maybe if WrestleMania was postponed in the summertime, maybe you hype up different matches for WrestleMania in the summertime. You still want to have AJ Styles versus Undertaker, main event weeks from now. You want to have Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins on WrestleMania, let him main event Raw 3 weeks from now. Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. They lucked out with that because now we don't have to worry about the crowd shitting on Goldberg and shitting on Roman Reigns. There's nobody there. So none of these matches feel so freaking strong that it couldn't main event a Raw or SmackDown. And then you do Mania in the summertime. Hell, you kind of almost hit the nail on it. Obviously, you would not cancel SummerSlam, but Money in the Bank, Elimination Chamber, Extreme Rules, some of those other cards that look, if we said to everybody, hey, no Extreme Rules pay-per-view this year, but instead that will be WrestleMania. What's wrong with that? Build up different feuds. All right, you want to have The Fiend versus John Cena? All right, you could postpone it to later on this year. They didn't have any long-standing feud. They pointed. You know what I'm saying? But some of these other feuds, you could have a main event Raw or SmackDown. There's no crowd there anyway. And then you take one of the other pay-per-views later this year, you turn it into a Mania, you do a fan fest, and I think there's plenty of time for them to build up new feuds. That's just my opinion. I don't like the idea of seeing it go down this way.
No, it's not good for anybody. I mean, again, wrestling is inclusive as far as fan reaction go. Even
All right, I fixed it. I fixed it. Okay. All right, everybody. All right. Now it should fix.
Everybody hears?
No. I think they'll say it's fine now. Hold on.
Right. Oh, everyone is saying all good.
Yeah, okay, now it's good. Now it should definitely be good. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right. It's fixed. Okay. I just figured out what this gremlin is. We'll never have a problem ever again. My apologies, everyone. I'm sorry. There's a YouTube setting that when it starts to get like a little bit of an audio issue, I think it just cuts off the signal completely. So all I have to do is just reset the signal. So thank God. Yeah, we fixed it. All right. So
Truman says it sounds better than before. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. All I have to do is just reset one setting over here. So I promise everybody we won't have that problem ever again. Look, like I said, this is still new. I'm not even doing this 2 months yet, and I'm learning on the fly. So little things like this, I know it might be 2 minutes of bullshit, but if we fix it and we know how we fix it, we don't have to worry about it ever again. By the way, listen, before I say what I said before, just a reminder for those that are not aware of this already. Next Friday, I'm going to do a special edition of Breakfast Soup on YouTube for everybody. Happens to be my birthday, and I got this idea a little bit from Kevin Matthews, who's, wrestler, been in Impact Wrestling, has his own promotion. I've been on shows with him, really good guy. A lot of wrestlers, I didn't want this to come off the wrong way the last day or two, but I see a lot of wrestlers out there that are talking about how they lost paydays. And I see all these people online. Oh, your local wrestlers right now are not working. Buy this shirt, buy their merchandise, buy this, support them. They are not going to be able to work. And although that's cool, two things that piss me off about that. All of those people that are saying that, take note that they don't show you the wardrobe that they bought. Very easy for them to tell you how to spend your money, support your local wrestlers, but yet you're out of work, musicians out of work, teachers are out of work, other people out of work. Do you see them telling people to go buy stuff for your families out there? So everybody,
stupid because I couldn't buy it.
Yeah. So everybody out there, worry about yourself first. Worry about your family first. And then if you can help someone else, by all means. And it doesn't always necessarily have to be money-wise. But here's the thing. There was some female wrestler, I don't know her name, she's from Jersey, and she goes and she writes on social media today like, hey, everybody, it's my birthday coming up, and if everybody could PayPal me $5 since I'm not working right now, it would really help. And Kevin Matthews is like, you know what? How's about you tell everybody, since it's your birthday, that you ask everybody to donate $5 to the COVID-19 fund for the people that are desperately needing help right now. Very quickly, send me money. So I got the idea, you know what? Next Friday's my birthday. We've been wanting to do a breakfast soup on YouTube. So next Friday, right after Smackdown, there's going to be a marathon show. We're going to go and do the show until we can't stay awake anymore. And we want everybody to join. We want everybody to donate. We're going to have the super chat going, and we're going to split that proceeds right down the middle. And that money's going to go to COVID-19 fund. So any proceeds we raise next week, if you're going to be around, Kev, you could come on too. We're going to invite other podcasters to come on. It is going to be our WrestleMania as far as podcasts go. Big super show next Friday. I'm going to celebrate my birthday. Let's face it. I can't go out to dinner and celebrate it. So I'm going to celebrate it with everybody.
A week from this Friday?
A week from this Friday, right after Smackdown. I'll be there. So everybody's got about 10 days notice, and we won't have any audio issues to boot as well. I'm so glad that I figured that out on the fly. So if it happens again, all I got to do is just reset the microphone setting and, problem solved. So, so anyway, thank you everybody for the birthday wishes. But But anyway, so getting back to before, you could see WWE taking precautions by having certain wrestlers on every other week. You see this person on this week, they're not on next week. Now, as far as AEW goes, I mean, they're going to do an empty arena, this Wednesday. I don't know how that's going to go beyond a week or two. I mean, it's not the same without fans. And, wrestlers do go home for Christmas, for New Year's. Yes, they may tape 1 or 2 shows in front of a live crowd a week in advance. But in my opinion, and you know this, Kev, back in the day, Nitro, maybe even a Raw, when it got around the holidays, what did they do? A best of, a year in review. So for AEW, you got the first 6 months. Why don't you show the best of AEW? This is the perfect time where you could build, some of your wrestlers that people didn't know about before 6 months ago. The idea of continuing the storylines as planned, and this is what I was going to say before, yeah, it's a soap opera. And it's really hard to postpone suspension of disbelief of hatred and feuds. But if you take a week or two off and see what I personally don't think that this is going to, all these restrictions are going to go on until July or August. I think 2 weeks from now, if everybody is careful and does the right thing, I think 2 weeks from now, we will be on the road to recovery with this. I don't think that this is going to go beyond 2 to 3 weeks at the most. I think there'll still be restrictions, but I think a lot of it will be lifted. So
no, it's the same thing they told our industry. It's there'll be right now we're told it'll start up for us in the clubs and the entertainment, under 500 cap rooms. They told us around April 20th, if kids go back to school, they'll lift the sanctions on us. They might limit the crowds and cut it in half. 500 cap will be a 250 cap. They said the most this will go, though, could be May 11th. So, again, I just don't I just throw my hands up. I'm like, oh, waiting to hear. So I guess, because once you lift the sanctions, DT, on one, you have to lift them on the other.
Well, every state is...
DT, WWE is not above the law.
No, but every state is different.
Yeah.
And, look, it's no secret that once the tests become available everywhere, you're going to get a lot more positive results reported because there are people sick right now that haven't even taken a test yet and tested positive. Right. The thing is that, and I talked about this a week ago, community spread is the biggest problem right now. It's not necessarily people coming from different countries. It's community spread. I have it. I go to the store. I give it to this person. This person goes home to their family. They give it to their family members. This person goes here. They give it to people. And for a couple of days, they don't even know they're sick. So hopefully within the next 2 weeks. And I think a lot of the states went way over the top with their restrictions. Yeah. But I think it's just to cut off the head of the snake right now than wait for different areas to really, die out on its own. I mean, last Wednesday when I did Wednesday Night Dynamite, if anybody goes back and watches that, last Wednesday I was talking about how I stood 10 feet away from everyone. I had Lysol hand sanitizers, didn't have anybody sit in my cubicle. There is, and I've said this too. You walk into a doctor's office in the wintertime, there's a lot of people coughing up lungs already that have flu, chickenpox, measles. So it's not like we've never been around people who have a catchy flu. And, the chances of anybody dying is like in between the 20s and the 50s, it's like 0.2. Yeah. And usually it's elderly and underlying condition. But again, the idea of WrestleMania being in an empty arena with no rabid fans cheering, it's 2 weeks away. But then you have the night after WrestleMania. It's just that roar, that pop. If McIntyre was supposed to get the belt, there's no fans there to make this unbelievable pop when he gets the victory. There's so much. And I think a lot of people out there take fans for granted, even dead crowds, because there's a reason why we only got one match tonight. There's a reason why we got very little on SmackDown. Because when you actually put it together and you see that exciting finish, and when that referee hits that 3 count, there's no roar, there's no pop, there's no eruption. All you hear is theme music playing. Right. You know, it's like watching wrestling on mute.
It is.
You know, so
yeah.
I wanted to bring this up too. I think it's very important. You know, there were a lot of podcasters, a lot of writers that tried to be insurance agents the last 2 weeks, talking about how they're waiting for Tampa to cancel Mania because of this and because of that. And, you know, and if you notice, WWE is still doing Mania at the Performance Center. So this idea that Vince was waiting for Tampa to cancel it so he could put in a claim is so ridiculous. And I posted links for people, because I'm an insurance guy for 20 some odd years. I know what business interruption insurance is. And the one thing that most of these goofs didn't even realize is that you have to have a physical damage occur to your business, physical. And there is an ISO that was added about a month ago for coronavirus, but usually virus is not covered for business interruption. Now, wow. WrestleCon, which I know a lot of you out there were looking forward to going, they were forced to cancel today. And there's this big stink online that the Marriott Hotel, what's up, Richard Slater, my friend? And yes, he wants to just let everybody know his heart is out, goes out to everybody. And, you know, it's, yeah, I mean, everybody is out to support everybody. You know, people need to understand this too. The level of support that a lot of you give each other is not based on how many tweets you post or Facebook posts you make. It's what you do on the outside. You know, not everybody has to visibly tell people and receive it to get or give. You know, you take care of your inner circle, you take care of your friends, you talk to them publicly. You know, it's not based on what you publicly say. But getting back to what I was saying, WrestleCon has this big stink online that I think the Marriott is not refunding them. Wow. And, you know, I know there's a lot of fans, because they're fans of WrestleCon, that think that that's absolutely disgusting for the Marriott Hotel to not refund them. But this is what you need to understand. And I'm not trying to be a dick. The last thing I say is a positive for WrestleCon. Nobody says you can't go to the Marriott right now. WrestleCon could still do what they want to do. WrestleCon could still have those rooms. They just decided to cancel because WrestleMania is canceled in that stadium. So the Marriott is saying, like, nobody's telling you to cancel your rooms. Oh, well, we were piggybacking off of WrestleMania. Well, that's your fucking problem. You're the one that took that risk of putting a show based on fans going to another show. That is called risk. So,
that's risk. Yeah,
it's risk.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Kev, if you and I wanted to sell shirts, sell artwork, sell autographs, whatever we want to sell, right, and we know that there's a gigantic event taking place in Jersey, and, you know, it's a big podcaster convention, and we're like, oh my God, there's 20,000 people are going to be there. Yo, dude, you and I, we got to bring like 500 shirts with us. We got to bring 100 bobbleheads, this and that. Let's just buy everything and bring everything. And then we go, and then the event is canceled. That's the risk I took. So WrestleCon doing their whole thing, and then because Marriott doesn't want to refund the money, you could still use those rooms. You're canceling early because a lot of your fans will not be going now. That's the risk you take. That is a tax write-off, by the way. But here's the positive. WrestleCon, if Tampa, Florida issues an ordinance within the next 2 weeks, because those rooms are not booked until, I guess, the 3rd of April.
Right.
If Florida issues an ordinance in the next 2 weeks that says you cannot stay at a hotel, WrestleCon will get their money back.
Right. So got to hope for that to happen.
Yeah. So really, WrestleCon right now, and again, this is no one out there is going to talk about this aspect because they don't know, and it's nothing against them. But I see these goofs out there that know nothing about insurance, that think they understand business interruption and stuff like this. It has to be a covered peril, and it has to affect the business physically. You know, the coronavirus, you know, it's we know what it is, but at the end of the day, you know, okay, WrestleMania could have just changed their mind and say, you know what, fuck you, Florida. We don't want to have the event in Florida. What was WrestleCon going to do then?
That's true.
It's a risk.
Yeah, it's a risk. Total risk.
It's a total risk. So, personally, and look, I brought this up too. My nephew is getting married April 4th, the night that the Hall of Fame ceremony was supposed to go on. As of right now, we don't know if it's going to go down because he was having more than 50 people.
Wow, that's right. Yeah, they would have to really scale back.
Yeah.
How many people were they expecting?
About 110, 120. But,
so it'd have to be immediate family.
Yeah,
then, right?
but it's in Lake Ronkonkoma, which is really far from here. And me and my girl rented a room from the Hyatt. This way we could just get dressed out there and then stay there overnight. My fiance's birthday happens to be the 5th. So that's what we're going to do. So I didn't cancel my room yet because by that time, you know what I mean? Like some ordinances may be lifted. It's only the 16th of March. So I'm hoping within a week to 10 days, things get changed. But the point is, if I cancel my hotel room now, Hyatt's going to say to me, okay, you lost your money. Because it's my choice to cancel it now. If I say there's no wedding, what am I supposed to say? Give me my money back because the wedding is off? I could still use the room. So that's the risk that WrestleCon takes. Personally, I think, and it's kind of disturbing, but people are hoping that there's more coronavirus cases in Florida. As disturbing as that sounds, there are people in and around this circle that are hoping for more cases, because the more cases that pop up in Florida, the bigger the chance that DeSantis or Tampa turns around and say, okay, everybody, nobody allowed in hotel rooms.
So you're talking from a financial aspect.
Yeah.
They want to see people get coronavirus.
Yeah. It's disturbing as that is, everybody. It is true. Because if the cases go down, WrestleMania ain't going to all of a sudden go back to the stadium. There are people right now, they'll never say it publicly, but they are hoping for more coronavirus in that area. So DeSantis makes the mandate, no people in the hotels, no people in here. Then if that happens, then they could get their money back.
Jeez.
See how fucked up that is, man? A lot of people don't think about stuff like that. So,
they don't think about stuff. Well, I thought you were going to say it because the scuttlebutt today on Twitter was pictures of packed beaches in Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Miami, of people on the beach. Spring break is in full effect on there. My brother Joe had to go to a meeting in Fort Lauderdale. He was in traffic for 2 hours with spring breakers all over the place. He said someone forgot to tell these college kids that there's an outbreak because there was thousands of people at the beach of Fort Lauderdale. And again, and people like, there's old people in that community, the biggest senior populations in the state of Florida. Why have they not shut that down, DT, you think? Like
because at the end of the day, and I'm not defending this, but at the end of the day, we're a free country. They just closed the beaches according to legislation. Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. So, you know, if you're allowed to do something and you feel, okay, terrorist attack happens, the big lockdown, you know, everybody, you know, you should stay at home. And a lot of people be like, what the fuck is the chance that there's going to be a terrorist attack where I live? I'm going to the bar with my friends anyway. So you see coronavirus, you see the death rate in 20-year-olds at 0.2%. You probably have just as much of a risk of being shot. You know what I mean? Like the chance, and even if you do get it, you know, it's like flu-like symptoms. But, you know, you go out, to a gym or spring break, I mean, people do get sick sometimes because of unsanitary conditions. I'm not agreeing with it, but I'm saying, like, you think of it as a 20-year-old, fuck that. Spring break, I ain't going to get sick. There's no cases reported around here. Everybody that's getting reported is 80 years old. I'm not going to hang out with an 80-year-old on the beach. I'm going to be around other 20-year-olds. When was the last time I hung out with an 80-year-old in shorts and no T-shirt? So
DT, it's like what you said, but they'll go into a restaurant, and in that restaurant, the waitress will serve them. They can have it, give it to her. That woman lives with her elderly mother and father in Florida. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of effect, right? I mean, you don't know where it bounces from person to person.
I talked about in Louisiana. Louisiana, early in the day, issued these mandates, and then at night, everybody was in that, that area of Louisiana where everybody parties and all that, and it was just ridiculously stupid. Now, I took my fiance out for breakfast yesterday morning. We got up, and this is before they issued that all restaurants were going to close. I picked up my girl, and we went to the diner. And what they did was they had every other booth closed, so you would be at least 10 feet or so away from others. Plus, because it's booths, like, you can't see the people behind you, so you're blocked from them anyway. And the waitress came over, and she would put the stuff down, and she would not talk to us directly, and we would not talk to her directly back. And we had a really nice breakfast, and then we went and picked up stuff to make for dinner, and then came home. But it's not like I went into people's faces and breathed in, like, oh, that smells like nice mints. What is that? It's like you take precautions.
Well, my friend Audie took his kids to the movies this Saturday in Farmingdale, and they sat every other person away from each other, like empty seat person. That's the way they had ushers sitting people like that in the theaters. He took his kids to see some movie on Saturday, and he told me his new rules in the movie. I couldn't even sit next to my daughter. Yeah. I was like, really? He goes, I had to sit one seat over from my daughter.
Yeah.
And he goes, that was the rules. And the usher was checking on us when my daughter, who's a young girl, came close to me. He goes, this is the rules. You got to sit over here. And he had to tell a 6-year-old, no, you got to sit here. So he said, yeah, man, the game has changed for a while, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what he said. So new seating rules in movie theaters, too.
You got to use common sense. See, luckily for you and I, we really have not had many cases in our neck of the woods. Yeah. So, as long as you keep away from people as much as possible, and if you are, around people, you take precautions. This morning I had to go to my office. I recorded a video, kind of explained a little bit as to why I posted what I posted on Twitter yesterday. Your brother totally got wrong. But that's why I don't like posting things sometimes on Twitter, because you only have 320 characters to explain something. But, and for everybody that was eating popcorn, hoping for major feuds, it was just a total misunderstanding. I yesterday, because I'm a member of Facebook groups for my neighborhood, for Queens, where I grew up in Middle Village, some other places, and there was these big arguments going on, and maybe because of the debate yesterday, but these arguments were going on that there was one woman who was a cashier for a deli for about 10 years, and she was never paid on the books. She always got paid off the books because she didn't want to pay taxes. Now she's out of work, and she was talking about if she threw her boss under the bus and say that, he forced her not to be on the books, can she collect unemployment? Right. And then you add this other guy who has never been on the books, and then he's demanding that in this day and age and everything that's going on, that every person should be entitled to unemployment. And you add these people out there trying to explain to them that unemployment is based on how much you made and a period of time, and the boss pays into unemployment insurance.
Paying into the system.
And these people understands that they are entitled to it even though they never paid any taxes. So I went on Twitter and I said, I'm laughing out loud at these people who never paid taxes, never did anything to contribute to unemployment, and they think they're entitled to this. And it totally blew up into something else.
Yeah. I mean, it was, as soon as I saw Facebook groups with Bernie, I realized that was a total
but here's the thing. you know, when all this was going down, you know, I take precautions, you know, to stay away. Like, I use common sense that, see, I had to go to my office this morning. And I came in, I did like a 10-minute video explaining why I tweeted what I tweeted yesterday. And I showed, once again, everybody in my office that where the seats are is over 10 feet, maybe 20 feet away from my cubicle. I had hand sanitizer, wipes, Lysol spray. And whenever a customer would come in, I would have them stay in the waiting area. I would be in my cubicle. I would process whatever needed to be processed. Mostly people today were making payments. And all I did was I would walk over to them, hand them their receipt. They give me the money. Fist bump, like I said before, and as soon as they left, spray the area with Lysol, hand sanitizer, or wash my hands and hand sanitizer, and that's it. I go back to my desk. You know, that should be enough. My point is that Louisiana, Florida, WrestleMania, whatever it is, you know, you can't force people not to be goofs when you live in a free country. You know, Austin Aries tweeted something this morning that got a lot of controversy because he's saying that the government is fear-mongering and scaring people into this and that. And I understand taking the extra extreme measures to, you know, avoid Italy. You know, Italy is fucked up. Italy is really fucked up. But all these people on social media think they understand Italy. If you've never lived in Italy, you don't know what the fuck's going on in Italy. Italy is backwards in a lot of ways. But the thing is that in a free country, if these goofs go to the beach, they're going to the beach. They're going to hang out at the park. They're going to hang out in the park. You think right now you don't have young people because they don't have school tomorrow, that you don't think that they're going to plan on hanging out over somebody's house? What do you say? Hey, everybody come over to my house. What are you going to do? Cops are going to, you think we're going to see live PD next week? They're going to be going into people's houses that had like 50 people over to hang out for a barbecue in Florida? At the end of the day, you can't completely control this. You have to hope that people are smart enough to be like, shit, I ain't taking no fucking chances. And they remove themselves from that as much as possible.
Well, I saw some people post the clip of the DJ playing music out loud in the Italian village or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Here an old school disco and stuff. Is like, I mean, again, they're trying to enjoy their lockdown or whatever, but that was interesting to watch that. The chat site's saying that you're having problems on YouTube.
Okay, I'll adjust the audio. I think I know. That should have took care of it. So, okay. Yeah, I think I know what it is, but let's see if it's good now.
You guys hear it good?
Yeah, let's just wait 2 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. Saying no.
Chat site said it's still robotic on YouTube.
All right, hold on. Let's see how that is. Yeah, I got to change a setting going in the future. So
can you guys hear it now?
They're saying the audio is still fucked.
True Element said it's fixed.
Sounded clear for a second. Hold on.
Eddie.
Let's see.
Chat side said yes, it's okay.
It's okay now? All right. Yeah, I think I know what it is. There's one wire over here that I need to switch. Okay. Yeah, it's good now. Like yeah. So I it's one wire over here I need to fix. I'll switch it tomorrow, so we won't have this problem again, everybody. I apologize, but you know, it's trial and error. But so getting back to Raw today, since there's really not much else to get into. I mean, what did you think of the overall? I mean, Edge's promo was awesome. I saw that Beth Phoenix said that he drove 17 hours to go all the way to Raw. I would have been fine if he did it from his house. Like, God bless you for going 17 hours. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't change the fact of the logistics of everything, but what did you think of it?
I'm a big Edge fan, always have been. So I was glad to see him and stuff. But again, it's so weird, like to take, even I wouldn't have mind piped in noise from the crowd. Matter of fact, when Austin said, "Give me a hell yeah," I thought they're gonna pipe in a hell yeah. But Edge cut, great facial expressions. Edge cuts a great promo every time they give him the mic. He's got the best facial expression aspect in wrestling. I thought it was good. That was one of my favorite parts. Probably the beginning and end. There's nothing really to review because a lot of the show was a clip.
Yeah.
But Edge was great, and I think Austin was as good as he can be. I thought it was funny when Austin did the two bears and fell backwards. But Edge and Austin, they opened the show with the right guy. They closed the show with the right guy, and everything in the middle was filler and Becky. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. We don't really have to sum it up too much.
Yeah. I mean, it's real. I mean, honestly, yeah, you think of a Raw review. I mean, you literally could get it over within 5 minutes. Shayna Baszler looking at the screen in the back. Becky having that, that truck, that 18-wheel or whatever it is. I almost feel like Shayna Baszler has to destroy that son of a bitch next week or the week after.
That's what I'm thinking. She's probably Shayna Baszler going to take a bat to it or something.
Yeah, you got to destroy that. I mean, it's nice and everything, but I don't know what the purpose is. That I mean, it looks cool and everything, but I think Shayna Baszler's got to fuck that shit up.
Yeah, she does. Again, if this is what WrestleMania is going to be like, I just don't know. I mean, again, it's good for us. We do a show, review it. Some people are saying they're looking more forward to our post show than they are to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, somebody brought up the idea of doing a watch along. Maybe just being on here for the entire Mania and doing a watch along.
Yeah, we could do that.
That's possible. I mean, that's an awfully long time to do, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know how that would work for everybody. Maybe, we'll see. We'll see. But trying to think what else. Oh, I guess we could talk about this too. Hall of Fame, obviously postponed. That I think makes sense because you can do the Hall of Fame 3 months from now. It's not a gigantic audience anyway. And the Hall of Fame ceremony could pretty much be done in any state. I mean, look, people that were coming down to Florida were going for the whole weekend for the most part. Not too many were going just for Hall of Fame. But they did announce, we talked about JBL already, but they did announce the British Bulldog. And they announced today Jushin Thunder Liger.
I was surprised that Liger would get here from Japan unless he's already here. That was my thing. Is how the fuck is he going to get here? Yeah. Unless he's here already, DT. But did they say when they're postponing it to?
They didn't put a rescheduled date yet, but he is in Japan and he cannot travel to the United States yet. So I think the Hall of Fame ceremony that may end up being SummerSlam weekend.
That would be good. They should. That's not a bad idea. They should do that. So why not only adds to SummerSlam? Why not?
Yeah. In fact, the more I think about it, that makes complete sense. SummerSlam weekend. There's no rush where it's not a storyline. That you have to pause a feud and then do that. I mean, you have some wrestlers that I'm sure the NWO can go SummerSlam weekend instead of April 4th. So that is something I think you definitely can easily attach. And it's got to be one of the bigger pay-per-views. So I think SummerSlam is in Boston. It's a nice place to have the Hall of Fame ceremony.
That'd be pretty cool. Maybe Joey Numbers can go there and give us a report.
Yeah, well, I actually am trying to figure out if I could possibly go. Not sure yet. I have to check logistics. Hell, we don't even know if this is resolved by then. But I talked about it Friday. British Bulldog, although I would love to have Dynamite Kid in there as well right now, I think the British Bulldog did enough for WWE that he gets the nod by himself. You know what I mean? If you want to put the British Bulldogs in the Legends, section later on, or put Dynamite later on in the Legends section, I don't think, because a lot of people were saying that they would have preferred to have the Bulldogs going together. I think you put British Bulldog all by himself.
Or he'll just be a two-time Hall of Famer.
Yeah. And Jushin Thunder Liger, you and I talked about it a month or so ago when the rumors started coming out when the Bellas. he's definitely deserving. But there's a lot of other people I would have put in before him.
Oh yeah, well before him.
Yeah,
including Great Muta.
Yeah, and I think the only reason why he goes in this year is because, number one, he just retired. Number two, he made that appearance for NXT. I think if he doesn't make that appearance for NXT, there have been other Japanese wrestlers who have retired that WWE just never put in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I agree. But but then again, they have to have a plethora of guys, a decent lineup to go in every year. I think they'll always sell at the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame's been kind of weak on certain years, but this year, pretty good lineup. Batista, certified movie star. Come on, NWO with Hogan. That's a big deal. The Bellas, say what you want about them. They are mainstream celebrities. They got a good, pretty solid lineup, something for everybody this year. But I hope they do push it to SummerSlam to make it the event they want it to be. And I think they have to go really depending on Batista's movie schedule too. He would probably be the only one who would throw a wrench in those plans if he's not available, if he's filming something.
Are we all in agreement now? Batista is the headliner? Kev?
Agreement. Yeah, agreement about what?
That Batista's the headliner.
Yeah, I think Batista is the headliner, not the NWO, but it's probably NWO.
Yeah. Now, do you think, because we know that Bellas had originally canceled fan access and then all this stuff went down. Do you think that their original cancellation was because when this coronavirus first started hearing about it across the United States and they were like, look, we're pregnant. We're not taking any fucking chance of being anywhere in public where we could get hit with coronavirus?
I think that started the ball rolling, to be honest with you. And look, everything just happened. I mean, some people could say, I saw this coming. But again, this was meant to happen the way it did, and now they have to adjust. But everybody needs to be at these places when they're doing this stuff. So the best thing they could do is put it in August at SummerSlam. Again, the CDC doctors are saying in the summer will be the best time to reschedule a lot of these events because of the slowdown and almost the killing of the virus itself in heat above 90 degrees.
Yeah.
So again, I think that's what they should do. Everyone's like, but what if? But we can do what if all day long, DT. We could say, because you know why? Because Trump came on today and said, expect us to go on through July, August. But let's be clear. Trump didn't say everything shut down till July, August. He said to get this underhand and then to get this in a better position. He didn't say we're all going to be out of work till August. He never said that.
And we all know Trump.
Yeah.
The Trump giving August, I know it's a bad comparison, but it's like a wrestler when you hear that they're going to be out until December. And then when they come back in August, you're like, oh my God, he came back so ahead of schedule. So I think putting July in August, so when it gets resolved in May, he can brag and say, you see everybody, we thought it was going to be July and August, but everybody was so good. It was so great. Everybody was great. Everybody was great. We got it resolved a month early. I think.
There you go.
Yeah, it's. I know it sucks. Everything with him is all about evaluation and job performance and this and that. But, I honestly feel that I think 2 weeks, I really believe 2 weeks from now, you're going to start seeing certain areas lifted. And seriously, maybe not necessarily the travel ban, but I think 2 weeks from now, you're going to see some big differences in the cases. We're going to have a lot of new cases because the testing, but I think 2 weeks from now, we turn a corner. Yeah, I'm confident. It's going to cost too much money.
Again, I mean, they got to spend whatever they got to spend. I mean, I was watching today, they think a cure is 18 months away, possibly.
Yeah.
A year to 18 months. I mean, how can you, I think we're all watching, the same thing pretty much, but certain doctors have, like, if you're with Dr. Oz has a better outlook on things, and then you get someone who's more of a fearmonger kind of doctor. It depends on what you watch, but they're all agreeing that a cure is probably 12 to 18 months away.
Yeah.
Or the vaccination, excuse me.
Yeah. See over here, schools are closed till April 20th.
Yeah.
And they'll determine at that time if they need to remain closed. But the idea is that if 2 weeks from now things get better, that's the 1st of April. That gives them an extra week to 10 days to prepare for the return of students to a school. They're not going to wait till April 19th and say, all right, everybody could go back to school. The idea is that after two and a half weeks, you'll have a good idea if this is under control and it is improving substantially, that's why I believe 2 weeks from now we will have a much better view of this hell. For all we know, it could just spread even worse, But I remain hopeful.
Me too.
Again, you look at it, Kev, it's not like we have tens of thousands of cases here in New York. It is bad, in some areas, but it's again, you look at the number of millions and millions of people, it's still a microscopic percentage. They want to rip the head off the snake now before it turns into, tens of thousands of people. So I think 2 weeks, we're going to see a turnaround. I hope.
Yeah, I hope too. And I agree with Tony Gloss. NBC is definitely the scariest coverage. I try not to watch NBC. They're too doom and gloom for me. I go to ABC or Fox 5, but
I don't watch much news anymore.
I try not to, but again, I usually have the TV on in the background. And now, honestly, I'm kind of homebound. There's really nowhere to go. Just fielding phone calls and doing some stuff on the computer at home. Because the club is closed, all the clubs are locked down, can't go there to the office. So this is where I'm at. So it's home office for the next month at least for me.
Yeah. Want to shout out our new and returning patrons, the Masked Jabroni, Mullah, Louis McCheese, Buff, Codal Khan, John Garcia, and Brian Thompson. Tomorrow you're doing your solo show, right? Castle Chronicles?
Castle Chronicles, 8:15 New York time tomorrow night.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm going to be at the parents' house tomorrow. I haven't been around my family too much the last week, but tomorrow is St. Patty's Day, and my mom, she's like business as usual. She's like, we're making corned beef. You coming? And I'm like, Ma, I don't know. I'm around customers. I'm a little nervous. God forbid she gets sick. She's got the heart condition. She's in the 70s. She's like the prime candidate to get killed from this. And she's like, oh, I'm fine. Come down. So I'm still undecided if I'm going to go there tomorrow. But
a good corned beef sandwich is hard to come by.
Yeah, being on keto, I don't get to enjoy too many things anymore.
Can't have corned beef for one day?
I'm not sure. I got to see how much sugar is in it, but I told her, put a piece aside with no seasoning and anything, and if anything, I'll just add garlic powder or salt to it. But I'll tell you, when I went to my father's store this morning, just, like I said, just because people don't tweet things, doesn't mean they're not helping people or vice versa. But I went to a store this morning. I bought paper towels. I bought seltzer. I bought a couple of things. And there was no fruit. Almost all the meat was gone. And the worst part about it is there were 4 loaves of Wonder Bread. And some woman called while I was there and was arguing with the cashier. And she had said to the cashier, how many loaves of Wonder Bread do you have left? And the cashier said 4. She says, I'll take all 4. Oh, and she's like, well, we're just trying to limit 2 per person, this and that. And she put it on speakerphone. You hear this woman in the neighborhood just cursing up a storm. I fucking want 4. I'm paying for it. I will never go in this store again. I mean, just really, really nasty people today.
Disgusting.
I got some toilet paper on the way. I got some hand sanitizer on the way. I know Mike and a few others online took my advice with Amazon that you can buy some of the things if you're careful. Stay away from eBay. Yesterday, I put up a link for the Clorox hand sanitizer. Yeah. And on Amazon, it was selling for $11, but it would sell out in 10 seconds. And somebody had told me how to get it. You got to reload and get email alerts. Anyway, I was able to buy 3 bottles. 1 for me, 1 for my parents, 1 for my office. So I was telling people online, okay, look, this is how you do it. So I know Mike and a few others were able to get it. You go on eBay right now, that 1 bottle of hand sanitizer is selling for $178.
Holy shit.
And the reason why they're allowing it is because the seller didn't say, give me $178. The seller put it up for $11. It's the people out there that want it so bad. They're like, hey, I'll give you $200 for it.
Yeah, they're bidding on it like it's a fucking Ultimate Warrior autograph. I mean,
Yeah.
what is it's crazy.
Yeah, it's really bad. But listen, before we go,
let me ask you one question.
Yeah.
How was the line at the store when you went? You went today? How was
yeah, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't that bad. I mean, because my neighborhood is mostly Italian. It seemed like the first thing that was going was Italian bread.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's usually the first thing that goes is the Italian bread. But
all the meat was gone. No, you said all the meat was gone.
Yeah, most of the meat was gone. They didn't get a produce delivery. I was surprised that they had so many paper towels and toilet paper there because everybody was saying it's sold out. Now, tomorrow morning, I have to go to Walgreens at 8 a.m. to pick up my prescriptions, cholesterol and other things. And I'm going there first thing in the morning. Hopefully, I can pick up some cold medicine and stuff like that because, my girl's got a little bit of a cold. But, everything is sold out everywhere.
Jeez.
Yeah. So listen, before we go, I don't know if you're aware of this. I don't know how you feel about this, but an interview was done with Alberto Del Rio.
Oh, God.
And he was asked about returning to the WWE. And he said, and I quote, "We have been in communication. We've rebuilt the bridge. On their part, they were wrong on some decisions. I also did some things wrong on my part. I'm hoping that we can reach an agreement sometime this year. The middle of this year, I'll be back." You want to see Alberto Del Rio back in the WWE? And if so, do you think he could be like the leader of this Latino faction on Raw?
That I wouldn't mind. If they're gonna pair him with Garza, maybe make him Garza's mentor or Andrade. I wouldn't mind seeing a faction. That nothing else I want to see him with. If what you just said happens, I want to see that. Other than that, I don't want to see him solo or League of Nations thing again. I want to see him with that faction with Garza. Run a heel faction of Latino wrestlers. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been very positive about Alberto Del Rio over the years, but at this stage of the game, the last time he was there, it just felt like it did not fit in. It would be interesting to see the interaction of him and Paige. I mean, we would never see that on camera, but I wonder how the WWE would handle that situation.
I'm not sure. Excuse me, but I think that he still maybe has a little bit of mileage left. His career. You have to admit he's winding down the clock. This is it. If he gets a contract, he better hold on to it like grim death.
Yeah. Oh, we will see. By the way, I just made everybody laugh. I posted a picture of me as a teenager in my tidy whities. Holding, I can't remember which flip phone that was, a flip thing, but, I actually took a selfie back in, what was this, 1985, I believe? So I know everybody used to say that Sonny Ono was the one that took the oldest selfie. I think that Paris Hilton claimed it as well. I just posted a picture of me in my tidy whities taking a selfie in 1985. So,
oh my God!
Yeah, I got some doozies. I have some photos I've never made public, but
that's 1985. That's 1985.
Yeah, well, no, I got some whacked out photos. I haven't posted them yet, but we'll have some fun during the week. But anyway, any final comments before we get out of here?
No, I mean, just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I hope we can give somebody, as people have said, escapism from what's going on. Big shout out to Adam DeMoy, who gave me a good pep talk today and was a real buddy. So he's a good guy, Adam DeMoy. Definitely brightened my day. So thank you, Adam. Everyone else who wrote me and everything, I'll get into that on the Chronicles tomorrow. I just want a special shout out to Adam because he did something really nice for me today. And I just want to let everybody know we'll be here for you. You got your shows coming up. I got Chronicles. Join Patreon, please. Sign up today, sign up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And join us live in the chat. It's what is it? Less $5, right?
Yeah, $5 gets you everything, and there's hundreds of Patreon exclusive episodes there. You get access to the entire library. Mish and I just did 3 hours of breakfast soup on Saturday. Wow. And we had an interesting debate about the whole situation with coronavirus and everything. And so patreon.com/Don Tony. Stop by. It's a very cool, tight-knit family over there. And like I said, hundreds of episodes that are Patreon exclusive. And you got ad-free episodes of this show, ad-free of Wednesday, We have contests there. There's a lot of other things going on too, but you do get a lot for $5. So.
Yeah, exactly. And people are looking for stuff to do and to not to push our own product for financial gain. But seriously, I think it's a good bargain. And you want more escapism, have some fun. We have so many different shows: KNT, Breakfast Soup, Castle Chronicles, and then the contests are still the best in town. We best prizes giveaway of anybody. So you get ultra bang for your buck. So definitely sign up. No doubt about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Maybe next Friday on my birthday, I will finally reveal that picture of me when I was 360 some odd pounds.
Jesus. Would you reveal, is this your big birthday coming up, so to speak?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to blow up the spot on you.
No. It's cool. To me, birthdays are just every other day. But, it's interesting that we were talking about doing something and raising some money at the same time. And the Guinness World Record thing is a little bit impossible because of the logistics and the cost and the waiting period. So we were talking about, doing some more content, especially since everybody's home and all the, the stupid shit going on with this virus. And, trying to give some content almost every day for everybody. And we started talking about next Friday, and I said, next Friday's my birthday. I said, obviously, I can't go out to dinner tonight. You can't sit in a restaurant. And but let me tell you something. I know you don't drink, and I really don't drink either, especially on keto. My body would think it's poison. But for anybody out there that lives in New York, starting tomorrow, all the restaurants, it's only pickup or delivery.
Right.
You cannot eat inside the restaurant. But what they did waive temporarily, and this is a big deal, is alcohol delivery.
Oh, okay.
That's something that you were never allowed to. So I'll give you an example. Your favorite Italian restaurant that never had delivery before, if they're delivering now and you say, hey, send me a bottle of wine with it, or if you say, send me a margarita or a Bellini, they actually can sell it and deliver it to you now as well.
Well,
so you could, that was lifted temporarily. You could actually order alcohol with your meal, and they will deliver it.
Nice.
Yeah. So so next Friday, Mish is coming on, and we're going to do a marathon right after SmackDown, and we're going to raise money as well, and we're going to split those proceeds 50-50, and we're going to give it to COVID-19 fund for people that really need it. I have no idea how much we'll raise, but also since it's the birthday, we're just gonna have just a lot of fun, and we'll go until you all are just sick and tired of hearing or watching us. And tomorrow I will have this cable wire issue fixed. I know exactly which one it is. In fact, I was able to fix it twice tonight. Now I know what it is, so I will take care of that. See, the reason, without getting too technical, the reason why I think this audio crap started happening is even though I didn't have the video aspect of this down pat, and there was some little glitches here and there, we never had an audio issue. And that's because I always had headphones here. And I would not wear the headphones, but I could hear your voice coming out of them. So what I did was I bought a speaker, like a cabinet speaker that's made for podcasting, and your audio comes out of a speaker now. And I think what's happening is that the connection that's coming out of my mixer is going into that speaker. Somehow there's a little bit of interference somewhere, and it's causing my voice once in a blue moon to get robotic. So what I have to do is, instead of having the mixer audio going into that speaker, I have to have the computer audio going into that speaker. Little technical thing, but I'm going to fix it tomorrow, and hopefully we won't have that problem again. Before we go, Parvinder Singh, before he dies, he needs to see both of us do a video podcast in the same room. Okay. Never say never. Never say never. And shout out to you, my friend. He's listening all the way from the UK right now.
Oh, I hope everybody's doing okay in the UK. I know they got
absolutely,
too. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, but next Friday will be fun, and we'll see if we get some other people to come on as well. And I already talked to Mish, so Mish is a. I also want to send best wishes to Shaheen nuclear graphics.
Yeah.
I just found out about it today that a pipe burst in his house and got flooded and destroyed a lot of his stuff.
I saw that. Yeah, I wrote him a note yesterday. That's terrible. I said that shit keeps piling on our heads, man. On everybody, it seems like something's going on. So shout out to him. He's a really good dude. That's
why I say, and again, we'll close with this. I'm not trying to be an asshole, and I didn't want it to come off that way when I wrote this on social media yesterday. But I saw a lot of podcasters and a lot of websites that are like, "Hey, everybody. You know, your favorite wrestlers are losing paydays right now. And, you know, if you really care, buy their shirts, buy their merchandise." And I'm saying to myself, everybody is fucking suffering out there. And what was so rotten about it is all of these people that were putting these guilt trips on others, they themselves never post what they're buying. You see, I'm wearing a Lars Sullivan shirt right now. I didn't wear this or buy this because of the controversy with him with the video. I had this shit bought about 7 months ago. I was waiting for him to return to TV. I buy shirts already to support people, but the thing is that these people that are putting these guilt trips, they ain't showing you what they bought because they want, you know, all these wrestlers say, "Oh, you care about us. You're such a good person, this and that." Very easy for them to tell you how you should spend your money. But you see, Shaheen, that guy's got thousands of dollars in damage in his house. You see any websites telling everybody, "Hey, buy some of his artwork. He could really use the help right now." They don't give a shit about any of you out there. Not saying the wrestlers, but I'm saying everybody listening, you worry about yourself, you worry about your family, you worry about your friends, and then if you can help someone else out, please do. But the idea, it's amazing. You look at wrestling social media, you would think that only wrestlers are out of some work right now. God bless, a lot of people don't notice, Mustafa Ali. Yeah. He donated money, and people don't even know this. I haven't seen any websites cover it yet. He donated money to some indie fed, I think, in Chicago that was supposed to do an event and got canceled. He is donating money to pay for all the wrestlers that were supposed to be on that card. That's wonderful. That's beautiful. You know, and if people want to do that, by all means, but it's not just indie wrestlers that are not working right now. No. It's
I'm one of the hosts on the show right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of people that are not working right now. So, you know, you want to support your favorite wrestlers that are not working right now, by all means. But this idea, this picture that people are painting that indie wrestlers are suffering so bad right now. I mean, if that WrestleMania payday, that weekend was that critical for so many people in wrestling, they need to find another job. That's just my opinion.
Well, I can tell you this, Impact Wrestling, well, according to the story, and a couple of people said it's true, has actually paid leave for as long as they're out of commission. They're paying their wrestlers.
Yeah, yeah. I saw that. I wanted to get some more info on that, and I was going to bring it up Wednesday. But that's wonderful also. Look, people looking out for their own, that's wonderful. But again, you know, not trying to be rude, but take note of all of these people that, you know, will give this impression that wrestlers are out of money right now and that, this, and that. And then do you see them looking out for all of you out there? You see them looking out for other people? They could care less. It's more of, oh my God, you know, support this person. They're out of job right now and this is that. But all the other people suffering, you know, whatever. You know,
Anthony, you know why they do that? Because we've said this before. Wrestling fans are the most loyal, generous, dedicated, want to help people of any fans. It's cliche. Baseball fans are the best. Yankee fans, Met fans are the best. Wrestling fans are the best. They really are. They are so dedicated to their wrestler. If they thought Chris Jericho was in trouble, that dude can raise a shitload of money. If they thought Cody Rhodes or just anybody. I mean, Finn Balor. If you are on their favorite list, those guys will help you. They'll try to help you as much as possible.
Absolutely.
I always give it to wrestling fans are so fucking generous. They're all generous to a fault, DT. You know what I mean? Generous to
absolutely. But a ton of people are suffering right now, not just indie wrestlers. So, you know, everybody out there, you know, look,
help each other.
Help each other if you can. And for these people that are extra outspoken, telling you that you should do this, you should do that, first thing you should do is, why don't you show me what you bought?
Yeah.
They show nothing. Because again, oh my God, he cares so much and this and that, but meanwhile, he ain't buying shit. Want you to buy everything. So
there you go.
All right, Kev. I'll talk to you tomorrow for Castle Chronicles.
Yeah, I'm going to go watch the Bret Hart interview.
Yeah, I'm going to go watch it too. I'm going to put this online. I'm going to have to post a little apology for the audio glitch. I'll figure out where it started. And like I said, that problem will be eliminated so it doesn't happen again. My apologies, everybody.
Everybody's saying great show regardless. So
yeah.
There you go. All right, everybody. Thanks, DT.
All right. Talk to you later.
Peace, everybody.
All right. Okay, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Once again, Patreon, if you want to sign up, not too late. Get to check out Kev's solo show tomorrow night. Wednesday will be Wednesday Night Dynamite. I will be on. Obviously, it's going to be a much different show because of the empty arenas for both NXT and AEW. NXT, I think, is going to be a lot of replays of other matches. So don't be surprised if the NXT review is extremely quick. AEW, I'm very curious to see what they present. I'm going to be even more curious a week from now. I don't know how long you can maintain doing this with an empty arena, but we'll definitely have a fun show Wednesday. And a lot of you were asking me about this Friday for the Don Tony show. I will be on YouTube Friday right after SmackDown. Remember, we'll have some Ask Me Anything fun, so get your questions ready. So this week, we got a pretty busy week. Thursday, I might do something Thursday afternoon on YouTube as well. If anything breaks that is especially WWE related, then maybe I'll come up here on Thursday. So got a lot of stuff. Just follow me on Twitter at DonTonyD and subscribe to my YouTube. And please, on the way out, if you enjoyed the show, I would really appreciate it if you could just hit that like button, because I'm looking at it right now. I think only 12% of you out there hit the like button. I know I screwed up a little bit with the audio earlier, but I promise you, you know me. I'll stay up till 5 in the fucking morning now trying to fix, what's going on and everything. So I will make sure we do not have that issue again. But I see some of you hitting the like button now. Much appreciated, everybody. And, I think right after Mania, whether it's a kick-ass show or not, that's when I'll start expanding the YouTube page to include a lot more content. But definitely expect me up here with some random clips from time to time this week and next, because I know a lot of you out there have a lot of free time now. And not only that, it's one thing of having free time, and it's another where you can't watch current baseball, you can't watch current basketball, current hockey. Pro wrestling is obviously gutted in a lot of ways. So, it's either watching nostalgia or, trying to find new things. Tyrus put up a really cool tweet today, if you want to go seek it out. Basically showing a lot of things that Kev, myself, some of you out there used to do when we were growing up. And a lot of those things you don't talk about much anymore because of the age that we're in. And now with this extra time, especially if you're younger with family and you got, family members that are forced to stay at home right now, you could actually reconnect in a lot of ways. So I tell you, it really pisses me off that I have to seriously think about going to my parents' house tomorrow. I love spending time with them because I don't know how much time they're going to be left on this earth. They're not doing well. And it sucks that a fucking virus, has to make me seriously, think twice about that. But everybody, much love, much appreciated. And I'm out of here. So on behalf of Kevin Castle, I am Don Tony. Be well, everybody. I'll talk to you all again later this week. All the best. Ciao.
Don-O-Mite.
It was fun to channel surf. It was kind of hard to do a little pocket pool after hitting the last channel button 50 times for 2 hours plus.
Don-O-Mite.
And his whole idea of overanalyzing, he's an alcoholic and he misplaced the belt. And how could you have someone champion like that? The fuck out of here.
Wednesday night.
Don-O-Mite. You're gonna have fun. You really are.